Imagine holding your newborn child for the first time, but instead of feeling joy, you feel panic. You know that in just a couple weeks you'll be back at work, still healing, exhausted, and leaving your child in the care of another, all because you can't afford more time off. This is a scenario that countless US parents face every single day. That is why today I'll be arguing that the federal government should mandate 12 weeks of paid parental leave for all workers. Here's a little bit of background about this issue. In 1993, the Family Medical Leave Act, or FMLA, was passed by Congress. Under this law, certain employers were offered 12 weeks of unpaid leave. Then, in 2020, revisions were made with FEPLA, the Federal Employee Paid Leave Act, which offered paid leave only for specific federal employees. Some states have enacted their own paid family leave laws, but the nation as a whole still does not offer paid leave for parents. This is a topic of controversy, with a lot of ongoing debates. Many organizations, with the most notable being the American Academy of Pediatrics, strongly support this issue. However, many business groups and the U.S. Chamber of Congress argue against this policy. I stand with the American Academy of Pediatrics in support of paid parental leave. I am a current student, preparing to enter the workforce and planning to raise a family of my own in the future. Family is so important to me, but pursuing my passions and seeking success in my career is super valuable to me too, so I would like a way to be able to do both. To learn more about this topic, I researched current legislation, academic studies and journals, and real-world data. Today, I'll be discussing 3 arguments for why the federal government should adopt a 12-week paid parental leave. First, it benefits the health of children and parents. Second, it reduces job turnover and increases workforce stability. And finally, despite opposition's claims, it holds economic rewards for businesses. Now that we know the background and relevance of this topic, let's address the effects on infant and parent health. If the federal government mandates paid parental leave, then the negative postpartum health impacts will decrease. The problem is that new parents have to return to work just a few weeks after having their child, which causes health problems for both parents and infants. The initial time after giving birth, postpartum, is very hard for parents. The transition to new parenthood has a lot of physiological distress, from raising a child, financial burdens, and just an overall uncertainty. According to the New Zealand Medical Journal, a study done in New Zealand in 2023 found that the postpartum depression rate for parents was between 5 and 14%. New Zealand, along with the US, is one of the few major world countries that does not offer paid parental leave. With no time to recover, it's no wonder that parents' mental health was so bad. In addition, bonding of new mothers and babies after birth is crucial to a child's well-being. Infants build attachments within the first 9 months of their life, and once an attachment is formed, it lasts throughout their childhood. Rejection and separation during the first year of life lead to insecure attachments, which cause unstable children that have trust issues and problems forming relationships. My policy will solve these problems. A longer recovery time postpartum will leave less health issues for parents. The Maternal and Child Health Journal analyzed a cross-sectional study and found that women with paid leave were 51% less likely to be hospitalized in the year following birth. Furthermore, these women were also 1.8 times more likely to engage in physical activity in the year following birth. The physical and mental health of parents is directly related to paid leave time. To continue, healthy attachments are formed when mothers are able to stay home with their children. According to the International Journal of Childcare, children who spend more than 10 hours per week in childcare during the first year of their life are more likely to form insecure attachments and have aggressive behaviors. However, women with longer maternity leaves have healthier attachments with their children. So this bonding time after birth is so important. Paid parental leave has direct improvements on mental and physical health of parents and attachment security of children. Not only does it benefit health, but also the economy. So now let's discuss my second main argument. If the federal government provides 12-week paid parental leave to all workers, then workforce instability from employee turnover will be reduced. The problem is that a lack of parental leave causes parents to have to leave the workforce altogether. As we discussed, many jobs are not covered under current legislation, so parents are unable to keep their jobs and raise their children. This causes a high employee turnover, which is the rate at which employees leave and have to be replaced in businesses. Employee turnover is really bad for an organization's efficiency, and it's very costly. Women especially are forced out of their jobs, and women are often forced to choose more flexible or accommodating jobs in order to raise children. A mandated 12-week paid parental leave solves this problem. Althea Brennan, an intern at the Rockefeller Institute of Government, analyzed the effects of some state-level paid family leave laws. In New York, they enacted the New York State Paid Family Leave Act in 2016, and the results found that there was a much higher workforce retention, or reduced turnover rates. Similarly, California, which was the first state to have a paid family leave law in 2004, saw a 6 to 9% increase in hours worked and wages earned for new mothers after the enactment of the law. Women can be more confident in pursuing the careers that they want and still be able to raise their children with the reassurance of paid parental leave. In sum, the negative impacts of employee turnover rate will be solved by my policy. People can keep their jobs, and workforce stability and participation will be encouraged and increased. Now let's address the misconception that this policy is bad for businesses. My opposition claims that the cost of a paid parental leave policy will be harmful to businesses. I will refute this claim in two ways. First, I will minimize their claim by proving that the costs have small negative effects and maximize on the money actually saved by the reduced turnover rates. In a Harvard Business Review, they analyzed the effects of California's paid family leave law. 253 businesses were surveyed 6 years after California's law was enacted. The results found that 91% of employers saw a positive effect or no effect on proficiency. That means only 9% found a negative effect, which is such a small and insignificant number. In addition, reduced turnover rates are able to save businesses money. Typically, businesses have to spend about 21% of an employee's annual salary on hiring and recruitment costs due to this job turnover rate. However, after California enacted their paid family leave law, as a whole, the businesses saved $89 million annually from the reduced job turnover rate. Second, I will use minor repair on my opposition's claims to show how the potential harms can actually be solved. The opposition claims that varying paid family leave laws in different states can cause problems for businesses. Businesses operating in multiple states have issues because there's different rules and costs for each state, and it can be confusing. While this is true, it's actually solved by a federal policy. According to the United States Chamber of Commerce, 10 states and Washington, D.C. currently have paid family leave laws. By adopting my federal mandate, businesses won't have to worry about different rules and costs in each state, so my policy fixes the issue. Furthermore, the opposition claims that businesses have to cover large costs with the paid family leave program. However, funding can come from many sources. Many of the states with current paid family leave laws use an employee-funded method, so the federal government could adopt a similar or other methods so that there's no extra cost for businesses, just benefits. Despite my opposition's claims, federal paid parental leave policy has economic benefits for businesses. It has minimal effects on proficiency, it reduces employee turnover costs, and it causes no disparities for businesses in different states. As we can clearly see, this policy does not hurt businesses, but helps them. To close, let's review why the federal government should mandate paid parental leave. I've proved why the federal government should mandate a 12-week paid parental leave for all workers. First, it will improve physical and mental health in children and parents. Second, it will reduce employee turnover. And finally, despite my opposition claims, it provides economic benefits for businesses. No parent should have to choose between raising a child and keeping their job. Paid parental leave is more than just a policy. It's a direct reflection of our values as a nation. Here are